So to finish up on, we have a few questions we got in, and they're just basic training questions. If you wouldn't mind just going through. One is for bench press, how important were your accessories over main movements?
They're huge. The accessories are everything. I blast my triceps, and I do a lot of shoulders. I preach shoulders and triceps. My main movement's huge too. You know, I am gonna do some sort
Yeah.
of bench. I don't typically do a lot of floor pressing, but I do change bars almost every week. We bench with a different bar, but then once we do our max, you know, our maximum effort on the bench, we're gonna do a lot of triceps.
Do you have any exercises that you know if you do it carries over immediately?
Dirty 30s.
What are those?
10 skull crushers with the easy curl bite. Well, you can do them with any bar, but 10 skull crushers, then 10 pullovers, and then 10 close grip, basically, you know, bench press. And like back, that's one set, 10, 10,
Yeah.
10, done.
Do you push the weight every time you do it?
Yes. Yep. Every set, you add weight, and then obviously, I don't do them every week,
Yeah.
but every set, add weight, and then try to, the next time you do them, you know, add more to what you used to do.
What about for shoulders?
Shoulders, I do a pressing movement each week. I alternate my pressing movement. One week might be standing barbell presses. The next week will be sitting dumbbell presses. You know, maybe I don't know, what are they called when you sit on the floor and press with a barbell? I don't remember. Lou had,
With no back support?
yes, they fucking suck.
Yeah.
Yep, those. But every week on my dynamic day, I'll do my dynamic work, and then I focus on shoulders, and I'll do a heavy pressing movement. And then once I do that, I'm blasting my front delts, side delts, rear delts, and just with bullshit, you know, front raise, side raise, lateral raise, stuff like that.
How important is speed work to you?
It's not. I'm not on my bench.
Yeah.
I don't do it. I do volume versus speed. I'll do, you know, 6x6, 8x8, things like that with lighter weights. I don't, very rarely do I do true speed work.
Yeah. And that's because you got way better carryover from...
I get much better carryover with volume, and with speed work, it destroys. I've got carpal tunnel and tendonitis real, and it ruins me to where it's excruciating to bench or squat.
Yeah.
So I didn't get carryover from it.
Well, and that's another thing that people understand. There's exceptions to everything.
Yep.
But you found the way for you to train and to succeed.
Which, correct me if I'm wrong, but conjugate is learning the system and then tailoring it
For you.
to you specifically. And that's where people fuck a lot of things up, is they learn the system, they overcomplicate it, and then they try to do the same thing that you're doing or doing the exact same thing that he's doing instead of learning it and tailoring it to, and you're going to have to experiment.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I do exactly what you do a few times and see if it works. If it works, great. If it works, then it quits working, and then you start tweaking things and try something different.
There was a shot putter. His name was Werner Gunner or Gunther. He had a very unique way he threw the shot. So he set multiple records, and everyone started copying him. And all their throws went down. And they're like, what the fuck? How is this guy setting all these records? So they went up and asked him, like, everyone's trying the way you throw and they can't succeed. And they're like, what do you mean the way I throw? You throw such a unique way. He's like, well, I injured my back and did all these other things, so this is the only way I can throw. So I found a way to throw. This is not how I would, but I had to find a way. And I think a lot of people look at the top, look at you, world record bench, well, I'm going to follow Jason Coker. Will it work for some? Possibly. Will it work for everyone? No, because you found your way in over a period of time.
Yep.
And that's the hard thing to communicate to people. It's Louis used to call it magazine of the month. You'd train like GSP, and you're like, I'm going to be like GSP. Like, no, there's only one GSP. You just try to pick out universal from it, and that's one thing that it's it's hard when people go, well, Jason doesn't do speed work. And I'm like, well, you're not Jason Coker. There's a big difference with that. And there's a big difference from a beginner to a pro. You guys are pro athletes. And that's, I think, the factor in for people who are going to go and like, well, I don't need to do this. Like, you don't know what you don't need and what you do need until you're in it for a minute.
And see, and that's there's the problem with a lot of people too that lift, that are strong, but they train in these powerlifting gyms or train in a state that, you know, Texas got a lot of strong lifters, Ohio, some of these places where there's a lot of pro caliber lifters, or they go to these pro meets, they get frustrated because I'm telling guys all the time, dude, you're strong as fuck, but you're seeing things from the wrong perspective. You're seeing the majority of the lifters you know or associate with or see are world-class lifters. That's the exception, not the rule.
Yeah.
That's a very small amount of people. And so guys get discouraged because they're like, fuck, no, bullshit. We all started somewhere. You know, nobody got that strong just instantly.
Yeah.
And they get discouraged, and they don't realize they really are strong. They're seeing the cream of the crop, so to speak, and you can't compare yourself to them yet.
What are some of the best bar variations for max effort you've used?
I like the giant camber bar on squat. I love that bar. I like the safety squat bar. I like it, but I hate it. And then as far as benching, I like the camber bars, like the Buffalo bar, the 3-inch camber, 5-inch camber. But I will say, before anybody, if they've never used it, they need to make sure their form and their technique is dialed in, especially if you start messing with the 3-inch camber or a 5-inch camber, because if your elbows aren't in, if you're flared out like a bodybuilder, you're going to blow your pecs off.
If you had a group of beginners starting, what's 3 tips you would give them?
Listen, be patient, and like Louis used to always say, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint.